اهلا بيكم في متابعينا في برنامج اس بي ال باللغه الانجليزيه. طبعا كالعاده على سعودي 360. معايا النهارده الزميل مات موناهان. مات هاو
بخير شكرا.
That's good. Good. Learning Arabic fast.
تمام
تمام. النهارده هنتكلم عن مواضيع مهمه جدا بعد الاسبوع الاخير من الدوري السعودي والمباراه المهمه بعد مباراه النصر والاتحاد، مباراه الاهلي والهلال وما يجري حاليا في الدوري السعودي. So Matt, our first question is gonna be about the best game I think this week. الاتحاد against النصر. Nobody, or let's say like a lot of person didn't expect that الاتحاد wins against the Nasr in Riyadh by 3 goals.
Yeah, I mean, did people even believe when Etihad went ahead as well? Because like Nasr have been in such good form.
Yeah.
I think is it one league defeat under Rui Vitoria? Yeah, and that's about it. And Rui Vitoria teams are just like so physically dominant. We saw that with Benfica. He's brought that with into Nasr. And he just, I thought even when Etihad took an early lead, I thought Nasr are going to come back. They're going to do this. And then obviously, fast forward to very late on, that man Fahad Al-Muwallad.
Yeah. Amazing goal.
I've talked about him in the show before. What a player! Like I love his mentality. And
I feel like he have a lot of responsibility right now on his shoulders to save Al-Ittihad from relegation battle.
Yeah, I mean he's a child of Al-Ittihad, isn't he? Like this is his life. His life story is Al-Ittihad. He just, I think it just meant, I mean, we saw in the celebrations, it meant, I mean, it would have been big celebrations anyway.
Exactly.
You could see it meant something even more to him.
Exactly,
And when you look at the table now, if he can deliver in, say, 2 more of the games, then I think Etihad is safe.
Exactly. In my opinion, like, if they won the next game, I think 90% is going to be safe.
Yeah.
And also, we need to mention something about Al-Nasr. Without Nuruddin Amrabat, they are suffering so much because Nuruddin Amrabat is an important key player to the team for providing Abdulrazak Ahmedallah by a lot of good crosses, by helping Sultan Al-Ghannam as right back with defend. Because Fadl Al-Jamia didn't do anything about that.
Because I think Amrabat, you could see the difference of being, you know, that his mentality.
Yeah.
And I guess we talked about mentality is a big thing with Al-Muwallad. I mean, there's a phrase in American sport, clutch player, someone who delivers in the key moment. And then Al-Muwallad's got that for Etihad. And then for Nasser, Amrabat, he's not the greatest talent. He's never going to be the great. He's never going to like dribble past people with amazing skills like say Musa or Giuliano. But as a manager, Rui Vitoria, who likes teams who, like I was saying before, are disciplined, tactically, physically strong, Amrabat is a key player because he can, whatever Vitoria tells him, Amrabat will do.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is the most important thing for a manager like Rui Vitoria.
I agree about it. So, what do you think about Sierra right now after, let's say, a failure in UAE?
And not just a failure, I mean a big failure.
Yeah, a big failure.
Yeah.
Coming back to Al-Ittihad, doing amazing stuff right now, winning against Al-Nasr, doing a big favor to Al-Hilal. Do you think like what he can provide the team for next season and the Champions League this season?
I mean, if you look at this, I think now I think there's 4 matches in a row they've won. I think that's all competitions, and if you could contrast that to under Bilic, where it was just so inconsistent.
And there's a consistency of scoring goals, a lot of goals actually, with Brozovic and Phil Molden.
Yeah, because that was the issue, wasn't it, under Bilic, that I think Bilic came in, he didn't know the players, didn't know the league, so he's like, we need to be defensively strong.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that with the players that you have at Al-Ittihad, and certainly for most of Bilic's reign before Da Costa was signed, for example, they just didn't have the players to play that way. Like German, he's just too slow. So Bilic's approach, actually being defensive, was counterintuitive. It didn't work. But Sierra knows these players, knows the league, and I like the way he's gone. Like, you know, we've got a certain amount of games, we've got to get a certain amount of points. We can either just be like negative and try and just chip away like Mourinho, something like that, or we can go for it. And I love that.
Exactly, his main important goal to not receiving goals was Al-Ittihad and scoring in counterattacks, which has happens a lot of games, but still you can't win with this kind of players if you don't know them.
And like it's been entertaining, hasn't it? Like the Batin games, you know,
exactly.
It's been great.
There's only one game in my opinion in the league. So if we're talking about favors and improvement, from Al-Ittihad to Al-Hilal, giving a big favor to Al-Hilal after they won against Al-Nasr, giving Al-Hilal back to be like top team right now in the league. What do you think about Al-Hilal winning against Al-Ahli and with 10-man players? So what do you think about this game?
I think it was just such an important result. They didn't play great, but it didn't really matter. You know, it's never easy to travel to Jeddah, get the result, and they were helped obviously by the sending off. And it's just they've got the lead. Can they hold on to it? Because as we'll talk about later, they've got a lot of games.
April was a very good games for them.
Yeah, and I also think I'd be surprised if Hilal do not drop more points in the league. So look at they have more difficult fixtures.
Yeah, they have التعاون, they have الشباب, they have الاتفاق away.
I mean, Taiwan and Shabab, they want the Champions League place, don't they? So those games are huge.
Yeah, exactly. They need the 3 points.
Yeah.
Because the Ahli is keeping coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Faisali also still the race.
Yeah. And also I found it. I think I was watching Mamic's press conference the other day, and he was saying, I think they're the only team, them and Man City, you were saying, are the only teams that are competing for every trophy still.
Yeah.
And it's true, and that comes at a cost, because the further you advance in competitions, the more games you have to play, the more those games matter, and it's going to really test Mamic.
In my opinion, if Al-Hilal lost one of his 2 last games against Al-Ahli, he would be sacked.
Yeah, well, that was all the talk, wasn't it? Was it Guede, I think?
Yeah, exactly. Guede was in recent talks that he will take over Al-Hilal after Mamic.
And Diaz's son was talking.
Did you see what Diaz... And Diaz yesterday, he said, like, I can take Al-Hilal in any time. Just like give me a phone call or send me a message and it's it.
I mean, the Diaz from Halal or the Diaz from Itihad?
Yeah. No, of course, not Itihad. Like, he was bad. So yeah, and we need to talk about this also. Like, I don't see in any league in the world team is playing 7 games in less than 21 days.
Well, I will say I'm gonna defend the authorities a bit here.
Yeah.
It's like in Europe, you've had the season began in September, finishes in May, there's nothing to interrupt it.
Yeah.
But in Asia, we've had the Asian Cup. I think that's had a big issue in regards to when you can fit games in.
Yeah.
And also, for instance, Europe, you've got, so say the Premier League.
Yeah.
So you've got the Premier League.
You have 2 cups.
Yeah, they sort out the Premier League. The FA sort out the FA Cup. That all fits in nicely together. And then UEFA sorts out the Champions League.
Yeah.
I don't think there's that harmony between all the different organisations in Saudi Arabia and in the Middle East football.
Exactly.
So I think it's just such a tricky thing to get all those fixtures put in together.
Yeah, and what I'm saying, because the AFF, the Arabic Federation of Football, Turki Al-Sheikh as the president, in my opinion, they need to have so much good communication with the Saudi Premier League and with the teams to know what we have in the calendar right now. Because Al-Hilal right now, they are having so much bad games for them. And they need to be fully concentrated and fully physicality and mentality in this game.
I guess one thing was, say in England with Man City, the League Cup was played much earlier in the season. Yeah. That wasn't an option for Saudi because of the Asian Cup. Yeah. So maybe that's something that they've got hurt by, and that's maybe unlucky, unfortunate maybe for Hilal. But I don't know, it's kind of the thing now. I know there's a lot to talk about, their fault, their fault, their fault. Yeah. Hilal need to just drown out the noise and just have to concentrate on these games. One
of the comments on Twitter, like I heard from a lot of fans saying we need to drop the cup to concentrate on the SPL and Champions League and the final of our championship.
Yeah, which is in the UAE.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you think it's true to like just drop tournament, playing with second team, and concentrate on the biggest tournament?
It's a difficult one to say because there's a thought process that you need to rest players and they'll come better, but there's also momentum.
Yeah.
I think that is, towards the end of a season, that is a huge thing. And if maybe just playing if a core group of guys can play most of the games, then I think that can take you a long way.
And to be honest, also, I think it's going to be hard with Al-Hilal because when they're trying to play with the second team, not second team, but the substitutions.
Yeah.
So Hatem Bahabri is not doing good. Hassan Qadish is still.
I was so disappointed with Bahabri because he was really good start of the season. Shabab, excellent at the Asian Cup. Saudi Arabia's best player probably at the Asian Cup. And I remember when Hilal signed him, I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's a good signing.
Yeah, and he's just done nothing.
Yeah, so and Nasser al-Dosri also is not good. Ahmad Ashraf is not good. Gahfali is a little bit medium. So yeah, I think
and also another guy you've not mentioned there, Giovinco.
But I don't consider Giovinco as sub because he's injured lately.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Al-Hilal maybe they're gonna lose one game, maybe because it's gonna be hard games for them.
The game I think that will really hurt Hilal is losing to Istiklal.
Yeah.
Because if they'd won that game, you could have kind of just forgotten about the other Champions League matches almost. You needed like one more win out of 3.
Exactly, yeah. And you finish that you can play with
exactly, yeah. But now they have to really concentrate
in Champions League, concentrate in SBL, and also in the Cup.
Yeah. So I think that Esteghlal result, I think, is going to, and the performance, they were not very good at Esteghlal. I mean, they had more shots than Esteghlal, etc. But the goals they conceded were really bad.
It was silly from defense, especially covering the players and man marking the players was bad.
And I will say, I know like Mamic has had criticism, but I just think he's a good coach, and he knows the region, and I don't see many better coaches in this region. And you know, if someone's going to come in and be able to manage this, I think he's got a good chance of doing it.
I'll give out to you. Thank you, Matt. A good episode as usual. We'll hope for all the Saudi Premier League teams playing and having a very good matches in Asian Champions League. So
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Matt.
عفوا.
Again. شكرا لكم على متابعتنا. اكيد دي كانت نهايه حلقه اس بي ال بالسعودي للغه الانجليزيه. قولوا لنا في الكومنتات تحت ايه رايكم في المواضيع اللي اتكلمنا عنها، ومنتظرين طبعا تساؤلاتكم للحلقات الجايه. شكرا لكم. السلام عليكم.